Deviant!
Amen.
God! Defender!
What horror movie was so terrifying that people fainted in theaters, sparked lawsuits, and even made some believe it was cursed? The Exorcist isn't just a film, it's a legend of shock, mystery, and strange behind-the-scenes stories. From hidden faces and real injuries to secrets that haunted the cast for decades, today we're counting down the top 10 bizarre facts you never knew about The Exorcist 1973. Number 10. The demon has a name you never hear in the film. The monster in The Exorcist isn't just a nameless evil spirit. It actually has a real identity. The demon is called Pazuzu, drawn straight from ancient Mesopotamian mythology. In the opening scene, Father Merrin faces a strange statue during an excavation in Iraq. That statue is Pazuzu. What makes this chilling is that the movie never once says the name aloud, leaving most viewers unaware of who or what they were really watching. Historically, Pazuzu was known as the king of the demon wines, feared for spreading famine and disease. But in a strange twist, people in ancient times also used his image to protect against other evil forces. In The Exorcist, his silent presence lingers like an omen, signaling that what's about to unfold isn't just fiction, but something rooted in ancient nightmares. Number 9. The subliminal creepy face came from a rejected makeup test. One of the most disturbing images in The Exorcist lasts less than a second, but it's burned into the memory of anyone who saw it. During Father Karras's dream sequence, a pale, demonic face suddenly flickers across the screen. It wasn't part of the script. It was actually a discarded makeup test for Regan that director William Friedkin had originally rejected. Months later, the editor slipped a single frame of it into the cut, and the reaction was so strong that Friedkin kept it in. The result? A fleeting ghostly face with hollow black eyes and streaks of red that left audiences unsettled without even realizing why. It proved that sometimes the scariest things in horror aren't the loud moments, but the ones your brain catches just long enough to haunt you. Number 8. Linda Blair and Ellen Burstyn were seriously injured on set. The horror in The Exorcist wasn't always acting, some of the pain was real. During the violent bed-thrashing scene, 13-year-old Linda Blair was strapped into a mechanical rig that broke loose, throwing her so hard it fractured her lower spine. Her screams in that moment weren't performance. They were genuine agony, captured forever in the film. Ellen Burstyn, who played Regan's mother, also suffered when she was yanked backward during a scene and slammed into the floor. Her cry of pain was so real that director William Friedkin told the cameraman to keep rolling, and that very take made it into the final cut. Both actresses carried those injuries long after filming ended, a grim reminder that some of the scariest moments in cinema came at a very real cost. Number 7. The director fired guns and slapped actors. William Friedkin wasn't just a director, he was a provocateur. To get raw, unfiltered reactions from his cast, he used extreme methods that would never be allowed today. In one instance, he fired a real gun on set without warning, just to capture the startled jump of an actor. In another, right before filming the emotional scene where Father Dyer gives the last rites, Friedkin suddenly slapped the priest actor across the face. The look of shock on screen, completely real. While the actors later admitted it created authentic moments, many also said his methods were reckless and borderline abusive. Still, those shocking tactics gave the film an unsettling edge that no script alone could achieve. Number 6. The set was kept freezing cold. To make Regan's bedroom scenes feel truly otherworldly, the crew went to insane lengths. Instead of using special effects to fake the cold, they installed giant air conditioners that blasted the temperature down to below freezing. The result? You can actually see the actors' breath fogging the air as they speak. But the realism came at a cost. Lights froze, cameras stalled, and Linda Blair, wearing only thin pajamas, shivered uncontrollably between takes. Crew members bundled up in heavy coats, while she sat exposed to the chill. The cold seeped into every frame, adding a layer of authenticity, so intense that just watching it makes you feel the frost. Number 5. A real-life murderer appears in the movie. One of the scariest things about The Exorcist has nothing to do with demons. It's the fact that a convicted killer is hidden in plain sight. Paul Bateson, a hospital technician, appears briefly during the famous medical procedure scene. At the time, he was just doing his real-life job. But years later, he was arrested and convicted for murdering a journalist in New York City. Prosecutors even suspected him in a string of other unsolved killings. To this day, horror fans are unsettled knowing that in a film already filled with disturbing imagery, there's a real criminal forever captured on screen. Number 4. The Real Possessed Boy grew up to work at NASA. The Exorcist was inspired by the real case of a 14-year-old boy who underwent more than 20 exorcisms in 1949. For decades, his identity was hidden, but after his death in 2021, he was revealed as Ronald Edwin Hunkler. And here's the twist. Far from being defined by his childhood ordeal, he went on to live a completely different life. Hunkler became an engineer at NASA, helping to develop advanced technology used in the space program. The idea that the boy whose terrifying experiences inspired the most famous possession story in cinema later helped send rockets into space is both ironic and strangely poetic. From battling demons to working among the stars, his life was stranger than fiction. Number 3. Linda Blair received death threats after the film. At just 13 years old, Linda Blair went from being a rising star to the target of terrifying hate. After The Exorcist was released, many religious groups were outraged, accusing the young actress of glorifying evil. Letters poured in, some filled with threats, so serious that Warner Brothers hired bodyguards to protect her around the clock. For nearly a year, Blair lived under constant fear, with security by her side wherever she went. The backlash was so intense that her family eventually sent her away to stay with friends for her safety. Imagine being a teenager, suddenly famous, yet hunted by people who believed you were cursed. For Blair, the horror of The Exorcist didn't end when the cameras stopped rolling. Number 2. Huge stars were almost cast. Before the final lineup of actors was chosen, The Exorcist nearly looked very different. Warner Brothers wanted Marlon Brando for the role of Father Merrin, but director William Friedkin immediately refused. He feared Brando's fame would overshadow the entire film. Audrey Hepburn was also approached to play Regan's mother, but she would only accept if the movie was filmed in Rome, where she had just moved. And believe it or not, Jack Nicholson was in serious contention for the role of Father Karras before it eventually went to Jason Miller. Imagine how different the movie would have felt if Brando had faced off against the demon, or if Hepburn had been cast as the desperate mother. History would have remembered The Exorcist in a very different light. Number 1. The first horror film ever nominated for Best Picture. When The Exorcist hit theaters in 1973, it didn't just scare audiences, it made history. The movie became the first horror film ever nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture, a category long dominated by dramas and epics. In total, it scored 10 nominations and won 2, proving that horror could be taken seriously by Hollywood. Its success opened the door for other groundbreaking films like Jaws, Get Out, and The Sixth Sense. Yet to this day, only one horror film has ever won Best Picture: The Silence of the Lambs. The Exorcist's recognition showed that beneath the screams and shocks was a cinematic achievement powerful enough to change the industry forever. The Exorcist wasn't just another horror film, it was a storm of accidents, mysteries, and bizarre truths that blurred the line between fiction and reality. From hidden demonic faces and freezing sets to real-life tragedies and Oscar history, every piece of this movie carries a story stranger than the last. Even decades later, its legacy still feels cursed, as if the film itself refuses to rest quietly. So here's the question for you. Do you think all these eerie events were just coincidences, or was The Exorcist truly haunted from the start? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed uncovering these shocking secrets, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.